Hi guys, I just wanted to do another video on Google Forms and some tips and tricks. But before I do start this one, I want to just go over something that didn't go quite right the other day when I was doing my one on how to make Google Forms cheat-proof. I mentioned the add-on, the form limiter, but I didn't actually get a chance to show you how it worked. So all you do is you click add-ons, you click form limiter, click set limit, and it allows you to pick from a couple of different types, either date and time or number of form responses. I tend to prefer date and time. It's very simply select the date, select the time, set that, click that, and then on the 29th of October, once that limit is reached at 5 o'clock in the morning on those dates, the form won't accept any more responses. It's another way to make it sort of cheat-proof. What I wanted to look at today is using images in a Google form. Now, I found this in my teaching particularly useful. Students respond better to respond well to images. It's nice as a way to use pictures and use videos to help them. It's very good from a historian point of view for using sources. I've used it particularly with my third years when we've been looking at some David Lowe cartoons. As you can see here, I've got a picture. Got a form about the spread of World War II. It's very, very simple. You want to put a picture in your question, you just put this here, like that. Click on the image. It asks you to browse. You can browse by photos, by URL. You can upload, or if you want to, you can just use the Google image search. So I'm looking at World War II. I'll just Google search for a map of World War II. And I'll use this one. And then all I need to do, wait for that to come in. And I can say, right. You can just add it as a question. Okay, so paragraph, there they go. They write down there 3. You know how to do that. Alternatively, you can also add an image. Again, add an image as a separate, not actually part of a question. So if we put that in there, that comes in, and then as part of the image title, you can say, look at this map and answer the questions that follow. And then all you need to do is just add your questions here. Question 1, okay. Countries were by Japan. You can see how it works. Just add in your questions. Now, one caveat I would give you here, one thing I like to do, by the way, is to put it in the middle. It makes it look a bit more professional. But one caveat I would give, if you watched my video on how to make your forms cheat-proof, I'll put a link in this video in a minute. You remember that I said one thing you can do is you can shuffle the question order. If you decide to do this, to put a picture in for your students to look at, and then a series of questions afterwards, do not use the shuffle question order, because these questions could appear anywhere, and they won't be necessarily related to these the pictures that you put there. Now, as simple as that is, it's also very, very simple to add in a movie. You click on the movie button that I've just done there. Okay, you search for your movie, your YouTube video, whatever you want. It's easy to do it this way. You copy the URL, paste it in there, search in there, put that in, and it's the same thing. I would say, watch this video and answer the questions that follow. Again, it's very, very simple. Control Shift and E puts it in the middle, makes it look a bit more professional, and then you can just add your questions. And students respond well to this. They can listen to this on their own times. They can listen to it on their own terms. They can take their time stopping it rather than you having it up on your board and having to watch. It gives them a bit more control, a bit more ownership over what they're doing. A couple of other smaller things that you might notice here. Okay, I don't particularly use this one. It doesn't really fit well with what I'm doing in history, but you can add, in a multiple choice question, you can add images from as there. So let's see, I can put this one in as an image there. Okay, make sure you give it a title. It just livens up the multiple choice aspect of these sorts of questions, but that's not something that I do. Something else you can do doesn't suit itself massively towards history. It's probably going to be better if you're doing science or maths or maybe geography, but I'll quickly show you. You can very easily add in, go into image. You don't have to just put solid images in. You can, if you wish to, use a GIF. So I'm very quickly going to save this. I'm going to save that there, go back to my thing, okay, and I want to put in an image there. All I need to do using this particular computer here is just drag that up onto there, and that should upload into there, and I can add a question. Look at this. If tell me at which point the Germans were at maximum power. Okay, very quickly show you. Oh, nearly forgot to put that in the center. So if you have a quick look at this one, have a quick look at this, what they need to do. Click the eye, have a look. This is what the students will see when they do this. There's a picture, second picture there. There's a YouTube video. There's the question, which and here's the animated GIF. As you can see, it's doing all of its stuff there. So the images are really useful. I think, as I said before, students respond quite well to those. I found them very helpful. So hopefully those tips will help you. The next thing I wanted to talk through with you was the issue of logic breaks. Now I'm going to switch from my history teacher mode to my modern studies teacher mode. And we tend in modern studies to have more class debates. Now, with the current situation, it's more difficult to get students up at the front of the class. It's more difficult to have debates and so on. So sometimes you might want to get their opinions on certain things. And you could just very easily do a form which said, for example, here, do you support the death penalty? And click yes or no. And then the next question would be, if you answered yes, why did you answer yes? Or if you answered no, why did you answer no? But there's a much neater and better looking way of doing this. And it all comes down to what some people call logic breaks. And it basically comes down to adding sections into your Google form. So if you look here, here's the question. Do you support the death penalty? Yes or no? Now, if I click these three dots, what I have here is something that says go to section based on answer. And what that means is that if they answer yes, I can send them to a different section of the form to those students who answer no. And what it means is, what you need to do is very simply, I'll just make sure, click on here, add in a section, okay. This one would be no. Okay, and then I add a question, and that would be, why don't you support death penalty? Okay, and then I might add another question. Oops, sorry, that should be saved as a, I'll give them a paragraph. And I could add another question here. Which argument against the death penalty did you find most convincing? Okay. And again, I'll make that paragraph. Okay. And then I go up here, go back into here, go to section based on answer. So click on that again. Go to section based on answer. So they've said no. So if they answer no, they'll go to section 2. But that doesn't give yes. So if I click here and add another section, yes, and then I can add the question. Why do you support the death penalty? And I'll add the extra question. Which argument for you find the most convincing? Paragraph again. All right, and then go back up to here. And did you support the argument death penalty? So these ones would go to section 3. And when they finish those, as you'll see in a second, they get to submit the form. So if I very quickly click on the I, we have a look. Do you support the death penalty? Yes, I do. Click on that. That takes me to the section marked yes, because, and then I'll click on submit. But if I go back in and show you just one more response, do you support the death penalty? No. This then takes me to a totally different section. And pause, click on next. And there's a slight problem there, which I should just go back and fix. Section 2, after mistake I've made here, after section 2, it says here, continue to the next section. I need to put in submit form. So that's an error that I made there. So make sure that after each one, you have, unless it's the bottom section, you make sure you know where it's going. So after section 2, you would submit the form. So I'll show you that again. My apologies for that error there. Do you support death penalty? No. Next. And because, and you can see that the submit form is there as well. One other little thing that I might show you very quickly, in case something which might come in quite useful, something which I'm using to develop my students' abilities to answer questions. You'll see that in section 2 here, okay, I have put in a paragraph answer. And what I want them to do is I want them to write an actual paragraph. I want them to write a decent argument. I don't want to just say because that wasn't good enough, it isn't good enough. So what you can do is you can do something here. Again, sorry, show you the 3 dots with this one now. Response validation. This takes you up to a huge series, a number of different things you can add in. Okay, so for example, I want them to minimum character count of, let's say, 300. That's the size of a decent answer. And then what you do, please write a longer answer with a minimum of characters. Okay, so if I click on that, that's done. And then if we go back into this one, and I'll show you, we'll submit one more response. Do you support death penalty? No. Next. Alright, because again, and I try and submit this, I get that message. Please write a longer answer with a minimum of 300 characters. So that's a neat little way of encouraging them writing more. So again, just to sum up, use images. They're really good. They're really helpful. Any type of image can be put in. It's very simple, but do remember, don't use the shuffle question order if you've put a picture there or a video there and then some questions underneath it. And using the logic breaks, very helpful for helping you to develop arguments, helping to take students to different areas based on answers. You can add extra credit questions. You can add some developmental questions. It's totally up to you, but do remember to make sure you've followed through all the logic breaks so that you can just don't make the mistake that I made earlier. Once again, any questions, please just comment on the video or get in touch. And thanks for watching.